So you ready?
No, I gotta go jack off first. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I got that recorded for our first episode.
Oh man, not everyone knows I mastered.
Hey
The
guys.
sound of your voice. Oh shit! I'm sorry. We're actually going. Okay.
Hey guys, this is Last Mohican and
Oh,
and this is our first and hopefully not our last podcast.
it'll be mine. For sure.
And for our first one, we are going to be talking about multiplayer online battle arenas, or as you probably know for their acronym, MOBAs. Me and Luxpoo were just playing League of Legends earlier today, and we just kind of got on the topic with it, and we decided to really roll with it and just kind of, having a conversation about how it's really the newest genre of video games out there, and it's kind of, I would say, taking video games to new heights. I mean, what do you think, Luxpoo?
Yeah, Tom. It's definitely taking it to new and excellent heights. No, I'm just kidding. It's it's definitely new. It's newer genre. If you look at everything else, a lot of games throughout all the markets, all the different, I guess, platforms of games are kind of taking heed of how popular it's become and how quickly it's grown. And we play them, or at least we play one of them quite often, quite all the time, and we have a great time playing it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're very easy to get into and they're a lot of fun to play. I mean, League and, Dota, Smite, all these games, those are like the three major ones. I mean, these games are, very easy entry to get into for any gamer because they're free. You don't have to, there's no money down with these type of games. And I think,
well, it came off an actual game. It was
yes.
it was an add-on for Warcraft 3 or
Yep.
Expansion pack, or not expansion, just kind of a custom built one, and couldn't charge money there, and kind of came at the same time where free-to-play games like on mobile apps kind of also came at the same time. So free-to-play and MOBA kind of just created a tsunami and a wave of a genre, and it's kind of just crash landing into everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my train of thought. I lost what else I had going on.
No, I think you're right. I mean, obviously it was born out of a strategy game. It was born out of Warcraft 3, and then Dota, and then League, and then Smite came, and now there's a whole bunch of other players on it, and there's a lot of cool and different ones coming into the fold, coming into the fray of trying to do something different, but they're all kind of they're trying to do something different or have a little bit of their own pizzazz to it, but they are all coming from the same vine. They're
I think I know where you're going with this.
yeah, I mean, like, League and Dota are very, very similar. The reason why they're so popular is because they were some of the first ones. Smite kind of gives you a third-person play to it. What is it? Heroes of the Storm, Blizzard's version of their own, brainchild, really, is,
Can I interject?
Sure.
Isn't the creators of League one of the most played MOBAs right now? Aren't the developers of that? Weren't they employees of Blizzard at one point?
Yeah, I believe so.
And what's really funny is that Blizzard has decided to, years later, go, oh my god, this is actually popular. Let's, Blizzard being one of the, in my opinion, really, I don't want to say bandwagon developers, but they're really good at identifying really hot new games and then just making something fucking awesome. But I'm really glad they lost to League of Legends. As much as I hate League of Legends, I'm really glad they lost at something. And I lost my train of thought again. But then,
No, I think you're right. I mean, Heroes of the Storm came in with a different idea of like, all right, we're still gonna have like the same 3 lanes and the whole jungle thing, but we're gonna remove items and I don't know about you, but that did not resonate at all well with me. Like after I played a couple of games, I realized I was like, wait, like I'm just leveling up a character, but items have no bearing on what I'm doing or who I am or how I do better.
It's like a watered down version of League, and League already doesn't really have a whole lot there.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion. I mean, once you kind of get the hang of that, like, it doesn't need to be simplified any more than it already is.
No, and I in terms, if we're gonna kind of jump on the shit train real quick of pointing fingers at Blizzard, I mean, if Blizzard's guilty of anything as of recently, it's that they've been watering down their games. I think you and I can both agree that like WoW is a shell of what it was.
And I
5 years ago.
I think Heroes of the Storm is a great example of where Blizzard is right now in terms of their games.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least in terms of their innovation with games. I think they're really losing power, and I think that's why they're branching out and buying out other titles.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I think it is also interesting to see how many other pretenders there are. I mean, I would have to say that if anyone after games like League of Legends, like Dota, maybe like Smite, Blizzard was the only one that actually had any real claim to be like, all right, now it's our turn to make a MOBA that is something that people can play. But then there was just a whole slew of smaller developers coming into the fold, trying to make their own MOBA and just not doing a good job with it. And I mean, like we're talking about people from like all over the place. Like, look at this. Like I'm just doing a quick Google or a quick search on Steam right now, and there is, oh my gosh, there are 40 MOBAs on here. Like, free-to-play MOBAs or just not correctly labeled MOBAs on there. And it's like, there's no rhyme or reason as to why anyone needs 40 MOBAs, to play. Like, that's just, that's an absurd amount. And... Well,
I mean, you also have to kind of think, making video games, developing video games, it is a business. And where the money is, and, when Riot kind of innovated this new genre, a lot of people came on board. There was another, I think it was a Steam game. Was it? No, it was oh god. It had literally come out almost right after, came out like a year or two after Riot came out. It was a free-to-play game, and they actually did a pretty good job, but they almost mimicked what they did. And, the only reason really why developers are probably making MOBAs is to just jump on a money bandwagon. I mean, the thing that I hate about Blizzard and any spawn they make is they're really good at just perfecting the genre first. It's almost like a Simpsons did it kind of thing. Blizzard did WoW, and any like MMO RPG that I play is just ruined because Simpsons did it. Any MOBA I play, Simpsons did it. Well, maybe not really with Dota. Dota came first, but I suppose whoever Riot at least identified that it's going to be a pretty hot and popular genre in the future, and they decided to branch off and innovate before anyone else could. But going back, I'm just really glad Blizzard lost to their own. It's like it's looking at cannibalism, and it's just I've never got off to it so hard before in my life.
No, I mean I think you're right, and even though there are these bandwagon games, I think the real reason why people are trying to jump in on this is because the idea of the MOBA is such a gold rush, such a gold mine. I mean, what is the biggest byproduct of people playing MOBA is the rise of esports. I would not have given a flying fuck about any sort of esport team or game or whatever if it wasn't, the competitions that are brought around by League of Legends professional teams. I think that has really opened up the floodgates for a lot of people, and it's also really helped having things like esports, having things like competitive gaming become more mainstream, even just beyond your hardcore gamer like you and I. Like, it's something that even someone like a casual gamer, somebody who just thrives off of competition, can understand.
Well, I actually think that's exactly what. I'm not sure if we might be on the same page here, but I'm gonna say my piece real quick. I think MLG, or the esports that you're talking about, is actually what drove the popularity of League of Legends. Mm-hmm. They started. I mean, you can go on like Imgur.
Yeah,
let's just cut it out.
Oh my gosh!
You can go on the internet and look at a picture, and look at where League of Legends started in terms of the audience, just physically being in the same room as people playing on a computer and playing this game, and where it is today. It's really driven the community, and it's really driven the growth of the game. And I know on Sundays now, especially with the competitive season going on, that everybody's playing all the time because, I mean, it's like, metaphorically speaking, if you go to a movie theater and you watch, I don't know, Rush Hour 3 or something, and you look at some insane movies going on, you walk out of that theater and you're like, I'm ready to kick some ass right now. That came from some comedian. I can't remember his name, but
Jackie Chan, Chris Rock. Those were the two guys in.
Chris Rock told the joke. But the metaphor exists. You watch it, you perceive it, and you want to be that. And I think the influence that esports and professional gaming communities had has really impacted on the growth and the sustainability of League of Legends currently. As much as I hate the game, I also love it at the same time.
I think you're right. I was watching a video from Sky Williams. I think I showed you him last week. He was talking about the different roles of League of Legends lanes. And a long time ago, he was trying to explain why professional League of Legends games are so popular, and he goes, because we can watch them do that, and then we can actually go and do that ourselves. In your example with, Jackie Chan running around kicking ass doing kung fu moves,
running up the side of semi-trucks.
Yeah, we can't go out into the streets and do those things. We can't just karate chop a guy in the arm and expect
especially because I don't have a black friend. So
exactly.
I really can't do a Rush Hour shit.
No, we can't. We can't accomplish those things, but we can, when we have the virtual world at our fingertips, we can see these guys, we can see these quote unquote, like, athletes, if you want to go with that route. Okay. And we can emulate that, though. That's something that, we can't do when we watch football or basketball or baseball. Oh, okay. All right. We got some of the.
I did it with baseball.
We got some of the big dick over here.
Big bat.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. But I think that's the cool thing about it, is that it does appeal to the common man. It's not something as maybe I'm backwards complimenting esports here, but it's not something that requires just years or decades of discipline to accomplish. We can see someone do something awesome in a game, and then we can do almost the same thing and emulate it an hour later in the same scenario.
Right. And to piggyback off that whole idea is when you play a video game, I mean, aside from like actually playing a physical sport, when you play a physical sport, you obviously need to know everything that you do when you play an e-sport, but you also need, the physical capacity to do that. With an e-sport, you don't need that. Not to discredit anyone playing video games. I'm not fit at all. But what I'm saying is I think that's why esports in the future, starting yesterday, going into tomorrow, is going to overtake almost the popularity of current sports today. especially with younger demographics. That's kind of an idea I'm just throwing out right now.
Well, I mean, I think
but
you're right.
I think MOBA is going to be a pretty decent driver for that too.
I mean,
only because it's, if you look at League of Legends, it's a difficult game, but it's also a simple game, and you just need an understanding. You need 4 other dudes to kind of coordinate with you. It's also frustrating, but at the same time, it takes just an understanding of who you're playing against, and just kind of the objectives of all the maps. Mm-hmm. And if you don't really know anything about objectives on a map, then you should go back to playing Warhammer 40,000, because they literally put it on a map for you. So go do that first.
No, I think that's a very valid point, and I think we've already seen esports have a much farther global reach than other sports than we even see here in the United States. I mean, when we're talking about League of Legends, like, I know that they've started forming League of Legends professional teams in places like Brazil, Israel, most countries in Europe, obviously America. Then we're talking about China, Korea, Japan. I mean, like, the only other sport that can really rival that type of unity and, to bring those type of countries together is FIFA soccer in the World Cup.
Yeah, pretty much. And what's really funny too is when I hear like League of Legends North America division or whatever it is, North American League, I always just think to myself, weakest league, much like FIFA Cup, And what's really funny though is, I'm sure a lot of people that could potentially be listening might think, well, North America, like, no matter what time you're online, like, everyone's playing a video game in North America. But what's really funny is games like League of Legends and other MMOs and online games is there's a huge base and huge skill set outside of North America, and where North America is literally the underdog in almost every retrospect in almost every genre of any sort of competitive game.
I agree.
And I really like that. I like knowing that we're the underdogs. I love.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the seeds have definitely been sown in terms of, esports really coming into the centerfold of general life. Who knows if they'll actually take root? I think that they have a lot bigger hurdles to overcome than, an actual athletic sport.
I think they're on the right track. And I think why they're on the right track is a lot of the younger demographics. Almost everyone I talk to that's our age or even younger, like, don't even watch sports anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean, they just literally watch it because it's on and, people like to talk about sports. But esports is something everybody can partake in.
Yeah.
Literally everyone can do it. And, God, I had a fucking point to make. I forgot what it was.
All right, well, I'm going to hijack that real quick, and I'm going to keep going with it. Well, and I think something that's also really cool about that is, what is one of the biggest hindrances of watching athletic sports now is that the only reliable way to watch them is on television and through television networks. And I mean, you can't get every single network. You can't get every single station. And, whether even though I'm a fan of the English Premier League for soccer, I can't sit down at my TV right now and reliably watch an EPL game. I can't do that. I have to find a stream online that is like a third party that, takes the actual game, streams it through some random janky server, and then ports it back to my laptop or to my desktop. And I'm like 4 seconds behind the video than the audio is, and it's just a very janky and shady process. Whereas when we watch esports, you don't have to be there. In fact, I think most of esports are watched, via streaming, and those streaming services that we have, whether it be on Twitch, whether it be on the own League of Legends website, whether it be whatever any other competitive esport game uses, they have reliable streams to do that. And you don't need to have a TV. You don't need to have a cable box. You don't need to have a satellite dish that connects you.
What, I'm sorry, what's a cable box?
But
yeah.
you got what I'm saying, right?
I know exactly what you're saying, and in fact, that reminds me of what I was going to say is I think one really big undersaid driver of the whole thing is how much the commentators, the play-by-play and the color commentators of esports, especially when you watch League of Legends matches, how good they really are. I mean, I gotta admit, I wanted to do that for a living at one point, and they are really good at doing it for something that I'm surprised that people actually want to do. I personally, I don't think I would ever want to commentate a fucking video game, but they do it really well. And what they really, really do really well, or what they do very well, is when things are going on, they're really active and engage you and just make everything just fucking awesome. But the color commentator does a really good job at educating you on why things are happening in such a quick time frame. I like to think I kind of at least know what's going on with the league, but like every time I watch a competitive match, the color commentator teaches me something. Mm-hmm. That's why I watch. I watch because it's awesome to see like the best people doing what I do, but it's even better to hear the color commentator like educating me so much on the game itself and like recognizing what the top people are doing in this game and why they're doing it and telling me why they're doing it. And I believe him because I'm a sheep.
That's a valid statement. I mean, every time I watch a league professional game go on, I feel like the commentators at times are like, those auction block announcers where they're like, I'm like, I have no idea what you're saying, but the fact that I can tell that you're keeping up with the action that's going on is astounding. I like sometimes watching, regular sports, like sometimes the commentator like content is just so atrocious that it's like, come on, guys.
Like the Chicago White Sox commentators, they're just fucking. I think they're actually commentating from their own graves. They just sound dead.
No, but that's also the cool thing. I'm not sure if you even meant to talk about it like that, but is that the esport crowd, the esport announcers, the esport organizers, the esport players are all so young. There's
that one guy's got gray hair. His name's Chris, I think.
Oh gosh, I mean, yeah, sure people I guess have gray hair, but the average age, I'm sure, of the player, the announcer is, and maybe even the manager is all.
And that's exactly. Go ahead.
It's all young. It's all new people. It's all fresh minds. They're obviously coming at this with a whole new, different mindset than things we've seen before.
If League of Legends or just MLG or esports or whoever did this and they had a 50-year-old dude talking, we would all look at him like, "What are you doing here?" Mm-hmm. This is literally our generation, the younger generation. This is our shit, and this is what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah,
and I think that there's a lot. I think we're going to see a lot of innovation. We're going to see a lot of growth, and we're going to see a whole new world, really, in the esports and video games.
A whole new world.
A dazzling place I never knew.
No, I think you're right. I think as long as the players, the managers, the announcers,
By the way, I really want to apply to be a manager for a League of Legends team.
Do you feel like money to shell out for that?
What? Really?
Yeah.
You have to shell money out to manage people?
I feel like aren't you, once you're like a manager, you're technically like the owner of the team, or is a manager below the owner?
Just I don't fucking know.
Either way,
I've never been one.
Someone's gotta pay these players, bro.
Yeah, the players pay themselves by winning competitions.
No, they get salaries.
They get salaries from sponsors.
And then you got to put them in a house, and then you got to do things like
house?
that.
What is this? A fucking college?
Yeah, man.
Fraternity?
Literally, a lot of these guys are foregoing college to play. So yes, it is like a college.
I was invited by some guy to play a tournament at my college.
There you go.
I told him I had a girlfriend though.
I mean, like,
Sorry.
but you know, back in
I have
the
a
day,
fiance, so I'm totally fine.
you know, back
She's
when
locked in.
back when we were, I remember in high school, me and my buddies, we really wanted to start an MLG team for Call of Duty 2. You know, we thought we were big shit. We thought we had what it took to actually be. No, it wasn't even Call of Duty 2. It was the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And, you know, we really thought that we were, like, good enough to do something, but it just seemed so daunting at the time. You know, there was really only MLG that you could go through, and it was just like, oh, man, like, we could get screwed by this. I mean, I know you had some experience, at least, in terms of seriously thinking about doing MLG stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have a little bit of background back in my Halo days, actually.
Back in my day.
I never really played Halo by myself, like the original Halo, and then anytime I played it with AJ, we played it together, and then Halo 2 came out, and it was online, and I wasted my entire winter break. Like, I don't even think I slept, and I played that game online, and then a couple months later, like, I just got really good, started just doing custom games because, you know, I was weird like that, and I think going to the MLG thing, like, there was really only game battles at that point, and like I got shit on by a guy named like Yankees Fan 1992, and it's like I'm getting wrecked by a guy named this. Like my name was owned by nothing, and you know it was like. There's no other route for me to take. I can continue playing and getting shit on, but I'd rather just play this game and have fun instead of getting wrecked by Yankees Fan 92.
But you rolled with some of like the big dogs back in the day, didn't you? Or at least you played with some of them.
I mean, I wouldn't say big dogs, but I did play with some guys. I mean, I did play against some guys that were in MLG tournaments. I did play against one of the ogres. I was friends with some of Ogre's friends. The ogres, like, I think it was like Ogre 1 and 2, and then they played with two other guys. Like, they dominated Halo at that point. They were like Cloud9, I think is who's dominating the competition, or Digitas. I can't remember which one is doing it really well, but yeah, Ogre was like just the shit. And when I realized that I am never going to be like them, there was really nothing else I could do. I couldn't really join any other team, so you know, kind of backed off and stopped doing it. But I didn't regret it. It was a lot of fun. And now that you know, you have especially MOBAs that are really playing such a key factor in terms of just, I don't know, I guess community games. And I don't know if it's really like right timing or perfect timing, but you know, you can go to almost any city now and just partake in some local tournament. Even for just like random games like Brawlhalla that we played a couple of times.
Yep.
And, like that's become kind of a factor. But you know, if you ever really want to learn as much as you can about a game, it's one thing to like observe and then do it. You know, like you watch like Digitas versus Cloud9 and then go into a ranked game and then try and play Kale, but you're not better than me at it. It's an entirely different thing when you actually team up with 4 other guys and work on different strategies. You know, that at that point, that's how you really learn most of the game. You don't just learn like how to play. You learn, at least when I was playing Halo. Halo is a really different thing than League because you know you have to learn about spawns, weapon spawns, tendencies, I guess, of players. But League of Legends is a little different. You just got to get builds. You got to learn how to control map objectives. So I guess it's kind of the same, but you really learn an entirely different element to the game when you start doing that.
I agree. I do agree. But I think this is where we're going to put a nice stopping point on our discussion.
What did I bore you to death?
No, no, absolutely not. I thought you were the most interesting woman in the room.
Oh, shucks, I bet you said it to all the honeys.
Whether or not you jerked off at the beginning is your own decision. I won't hold it against you.
He did take a 5-10 second break for that.
Yeah, I figured those would be a nice bookmark for for our first podcast.
Is that really going in this?
So I just wanted to say, thank you, Luxboo, for being here.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you for having me aboard today. So happy, so honored to be here. I know there's a huge line, involved with being here today. So thanks, I really appreciate it.
You'd be surprised.
By the way, I took a note. I've got a note here that says porn on HBO. I don't know why I forgot where that was going to apply to. But everything else is scratched off that I wanted to mention, so that's now scratched off.
I'm glad we forgot that one.
Porn on HBO, I'll never forget that.
To our listeners, whether you're hearing us on the podcast or if you're hearing us on YouTube, please let us know what your thoughts are. I'll somehow, if I understand podcasts correctly enough, hopefully I can put a link in for our YouTube channel. If not, feel free to send us an email on what your thoughts were. That's Gamut, so GAMUTGG @gmail.com. And let us know what your thoughts were.
Now, this being our first podcast and kind of being on the spot, I do want to kind of do a quick open discussion, thinking that
yes,
I think we should, if people have questions or make comments, I think we should mention them in the next one that we do. Even if it's completely irrelevant, I think we should kind of open up with that first.
Yeah, we'll do that for for second episode. We will definitely open up with that.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. That was your first good idea of the session. Good job.
I don't know. I feel like I owned this one today.
Oh, did you? I mean, I'll give you a nice.
I said porn on HBO. I mean, what the fuck else you want from me?
I'll put a nice gold star on the refrigerator for you. It'll be a happy gold star. So, it'll be a job well done. But, all right, guys. I hope you enjoyed our ramblings and our conversation. And as always,
happy gaming, gamers.